sounds good.
So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and people will just jump in as they come, because there's a lot that we got to talk about today. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us on our Monday night, late at 8. I appreciate you. I hope you're all having a really great start to your week. I'm Ayesha, first of all. If you don't know who I am, I'm a dancer, and I'm also a very active member of Dancers Network. As you all know, the Black Lives Matter movement has been gaining a lot of traction over the past few weeks and become loads more in the public eye. And as a network, we love to keep people educated about what's going on in the wider world as well as within our dance community. So we thought it was super important, especially because the commercial dance world takes so many influences from Black culture. It was super important for us to have a really open and honest discussion about how it's affected us as dancers over the past few weeks, how it's affected us as people, and things that we feel aren't quite right in the industry and things that we would like to get a little better. So yeah, that's what we've come here to do today. It's going to be a really open and honest and very candid conversation. If you have any questions, if you want to add anything, please feel free to jump in at any point, and I will get to all of your questions. If it's appropriate to at the point when we're talking, I'll check the questions then, but if not, I'll go through all the questions at the end. So with me, it's not just me chatting today. We have Olu come in to join us. Olu is a dancer, choreographer, a teacher. She's a mentor and a dance business owner. So she wears loads of different hats. So she's a great person to have this conversation with, because she'll see it from loads of different angles and have loads of different perspectives. She's a prominent figure in the Afro dance community as well. So she also is involved in like the African dance world. So yeah, let me request to get Olu in, and we'll get our conversations going straight away. There she is. Add her. Hey Jack. I see you. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How, can you hear me first of all? Because I've got my earphones in today.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. Okay. Hi everyone.
Hey,
Hello.
Jack. How's your day been, my love?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been an interesting one, but yeah, that's a different topic for another day. But generally, yeah, I'm good. I'm up and down, overwhelmed, but still hanging in there. What about you? How are you?
Yeah, I've had a really lovely day today. I mean, I think the sun lifts everybody's mood, doesn't it?
For sure.
Yeah, so long as it's nice and beautiful outside, I find it much easier to keep myself in a positive mind frame.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, how have the last few weeks been for you? How have you found it?
It's been, to be honest, it's been quite draining and overwhelming, and I think more overwhelming now because I've always been well aware of, you know, the issues that have arisen recently, but I think because we've all been forced to stay at home, you're kind of forced to listen to know every single thing, and if you're an empath like myself, you feel it even more. So yeah, it's been overwhelming, but also it's been empowering as well. It's forced me to make certain life shifts and be very conscious with decisions that I've either made in the past or about to make as well. So I'm in a very specific point in my life at the moment. So draining but empowered. I would say.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. Like, obviously, because it's funny having conversations with people who have never experienced racism or discrimination in any type of way, and how shocked they actually are that this is such a daily thing that happens to everybody. And so people think, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday actually, and she was like, well, why now? Why is it a thing now? And I was saying, well, it's always been an issue. It's never not been something that people have been trying to correct. And people have been doing things to forward this movement on various scales for hundreds of years. But I think that because now everyone's forced to be at home, like you said, we're all stuck here. We're forced to confront those kind of feelings. And exactly like you said, for us, because for me, I'm a very empathetic person as well, and to see that kind of stuff every day is super draining for me also. Yeah, it's been an emotional roller coaster too. But it's just finding the way now of leveling those waves, I guess, and being able to still do everything that we need to do.
Exactly.
And keep educated. But
exactly.
Yeah. What have you found like the most important thing is throughout this that like people are doing when you're having conversations with people and stuff?
I think self-reflection has been a big one for a lot of people. And sometimes when you have to ask yourself a question, people are scared of the answer.
Yes.
That they, do you know what I mean? Because it means that you have to acknowledge the part that you have played, whether that's consciously or subconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly. The answer is very scary, and I think a lot of people have had to do that. And in those answers, I don't believe in spoon feeding people, and I don't think that it is. I'm happy to give people sort of the tools that they need to educate themselves, but it's sort of not our position to sit people down and educate. That's not my role. But I think, self-reflection has been a big one, because again, in those answers, you're kind of forced to then dig a little bit deeper, in which case, instead of someone battering you with, you need to educate yourself, because you've answered that question, you go looking for more answers, and you go looking for more, and you're like, well, how come this happened? And it can be overwhelming, because then you have all of this information, right? And you're like, what the hell do I do with all this information? So I think the most important thing at the moment, definitely has been self-reflection. I found that a lot of people in the space of 2-3 weeks have probably learned more than they've probably learned in their lifetime, which is, which is amazing. Like, and I think for me, the next step is, what are you going to do with that information?
Yeah.
How are you gonna implement it in your daily life? How are you gonna speak up on it when it's no longer, an uproar in the media and in the community? How what changes are you gonna commit to doing in your daily life and in your environment as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just hold fire 1 second. I'm just gonna block this person. Yeah, there we go.
Oh God, yeah, I've been seeing. I was trying to ignore it, and I was like, oh Lord.
Where have we got? Okay, cool. Yeah. So, are there any things that you feel like people can do moving forward, both within our industry and like wider in everyday life, like that will best help them stay informed? And
I mean, I guess it depends on what your lifestyle already is. I think once you are well educated in any subject, you are gonna naturally feel empowered and more confident to call out issues. This isn't a political issue, so we're not asking people to, be clued up on the polls and do you know what I mean? Like, this is humanity, this is human rights, this is diversity and equality issues. These are things that affect our lives on a daily. So I would say for people to be, more aware of their surroundings, and just being able to speak up and not ignore stuff. Or how do you recognize microaggression? Because I found that in looking at the US and comparing it to the UK, I know a lot of people have said, oh, it's not really that bad in the US, but some might argue and say, actually, in the UK, because it's microaggression, it's more psychological. It's almost like, oh my God, did that happen? Am I doing too much? And then you're going, there's this whirlwind, right? If you have to question it, it's happening.
Right, absolutely. And
It's happening.
yeah, and I feel like, sorry, there's someone else I need to block as well. I don't know who.
What is going on?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and I feel like because it's microaggressions and it's smaller and it's not all the time, but it's often not as blatant as like a gun. It's then harder for Black people to stand up and say, no, this person did that. And it's easier for other people to go, oh, are you being too sensitive? Or no, she didn't mean it like that. So it's easier for people to deny that it's going on. So I completely agree. I think
I get it. Like it's scary, especially if we're speaking specifically about the dance industry and the commercial scene. I get that it's scary because you don't want to be blacklisted. You don't want to be seen as, you know, the person that's a troublemaker. You don't want to be seen, but some things are greater than what job you're gonna keep, or what agent is gonna, and that speaks more for that person than it does for you. Do you know what I mean? So like, I know that I would want, if something happened to me, touch wood, God forbid, but if something happened, I would want people to speak just as loudly for me, because I am willing to do that for anyone else. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's a shame that people even have to think about things like that in this industry. Like, oh, but I don't want to get blacklisted. I don't want to be that person. But for me, your morals and values should override any of those things all day, every day.
100%. And often, actually, I was talking to my white family about this, and I was saying that if you're going to go to the severe end of the scenario, if I'm having a conversation with a racist and trying to change their opinion or something, they are not going to listen to that opinion purely because of the color of my skin. They won't hear it from me. So I think for non-Black people to speak up about it can be so much more powerful because they can be listened to in a way that might not be from certain people.
But even in that, there's something so I don't even know if I'm allowed to swear on here, but there's something so fucked even about that in itself. Do you know what I mean? Because I hear what you're saying, and I actually agree, and I do think that if our white counterparts are seeing, you know, that these things are happening, like, you also need to, because these aren't issues that Black people have created. Like, we haven't created it. So yes, I do expect you to speak up. Speak to your people then. Yes, you should. Do you know what I mean? But even in that, where it's like having to put that level of, I don't want to say pressure, but I'm going to say pressure because I don't have any other word, but having to put that pressure, it's fucked. The fact knowing that you might not listen to me saying it, but you might listen to my white counterpart. Do you know what I mean? And there's something in that, for me, I'm going to speak for myself, that makes me want to speak even louder, because in that there is still that question of diversity and equality. Why won't you listen to me as a Black woman, but you will listen to my white counterpart? Do you know what I mean? And again, that says something more about the individual that you're trying to address than it does about the person. And I know for me, I would still love for, you know, allies and counterparts to speak out, but I also want my voice to be heard. So for me, I'm still going to be just as loud. Like, you're going to listen to me, and you're going to listen to my white counterpart, and you're going to listen to my Asian counterpart, and do you know what I mean? You're going to listen to all of us equally. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
No. It's all completely relevant, but yeah, I think it's so true, and I think that's what's so beautiful about now, is that so many people are feeling empowered to use their voice, and so many people are doing that whole fuck it, I don't care if I lose my job, I'm gonna speak on this. I don't want to work with them people anyway, if that's really how they feel. Like people have lost family members, friends close to them, because they've had to speak out and say, like, no, this is my truth, you have to hear me now. And it will take time for everybody to fully understand it, which is right now for sure. But yeah, I think it's so brilliant that people are empowered in their voices and they're speaking up.
Agreed.
Beautiful.
Agreed.
So what have you, I wanted to ask, because obviously you work a lot in like the Afro scene. Have you ever experienced or like firsthand like viewed cultural appropriation, more specific dance world or even
oh God. I mean, I think we all know the answer to this question. Even outside of the Afro scene, like I've definitely experienced it. But every time this question comes up, right, I always like to pose the question to the viewers, to whoever's watching, even to myself sometimes, what is cultural appropriation? And sometimes it's actually hard to put it into words sometimes. So I'm going to read a little. I'm a bit of a geek, so I have got notes. There were certain things that I really wanted it to be quite specific. Yes. So I read this amazing definition, right? Yes. And it said, when cultural elements are copied from a minority culture by members of a dominant culture, these elements are used outside of their original cultural context, sometimes even against the expressly stated wishes of members of the originating culture.
Yeah.
And for me, that just, because we can talk about it all day. Like we can give examples, we can say, but when we're speaking about it, for you to recognize what cultural appropriation or misappropriation is, you have to actually know what it means for it to happen. I have seen it, I have experienced it, I have called it out, I have been in the middle of it, I have been slated because I speak too much about cultural appropriation. And when you deep it, right, the people that the culture that you're appropriating, it's not like they're asking for things like royalty or anything like that. All it is acknowledge where it is that you, and respect where it is that it's coming from. Can you just imagine, right, if for every time you used anything from the Black culture, you had to pay royalties? Because you don't want to give credit, right? And you don't want to, something so small, something so simple, and something that it doesn't cost you anything, right? So imagine if you had to pay for every time that you use that elements from that culture, what the hell would happen?
Yeah.
Like it would be mad. And listen, people back home would be rich as fuck. Let me tell you that. They'd be rich as fuck. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, it's such a simple ask. Representation can eliminate cultural appropriation. Giving credit can eliminate cultural appropriation. Do you know what I mean? Educating people, something so simple. Oh, you used a couple of Afro moves. This is from, do you know what I mean? Even if it doesn't have to be some news blast, like, oh, let me put it in Sky News, BBC News. Like, it's just so that the longevity of that culture relies on you educating it, especially if you have such a big platform, right? So say like, okay, all of a sudden, this artist uses, moves from the dancehall culture, but for the mass, that the demographic that it's being portrayed to, they have no clue, right? So as far as they're concerned, it's this new thing. So then they take it and then they think it's something else. What happens to the culture you've taken it from? It goes like this, and then this, and then this. Yeah. All it is uplifting the culture that you have taken it from, so that people can then go and do what they will with it. That's it. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's crazy that it's a topic that's always coming up, because it can be balanced out with simple solutions. You know that you don't do Afro, for example. You know full well you don't do the Afro. So instead of fighting for, okay, let's create a budget where we can bring someone who specializes in it, who can be a consultant or assistant or whatever it is that you want to call it, who's going to come in, make sure that we're doing it right, make sure that it takes nothing. It takes nothing. Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
So in answer to your question, yes.
Yeah.
I have, and I try my best to you know, you want to do the soft approach and like, oh, you know, did you know that? You know, do you know what I mean? Like you're trying to eliminate the whole like whole angry black woman, but like at the end of the day now, like it's getting peak. So now, like now, man's coming guns blazing because you didn't want to listen before. But then when that happens, it's like, oh my God, you should be happy though that we're even using your culture. No, don't tell me that we should be happy because you're making money from it. You should be happy. Like I'm demanding you to do this because you're making money. You're making peas from it. Do you know what I mean? So it's something that I'm so passionate about it. And I try my best to where I can. I'm not going to claim that I know it all, but I try my best to, you know, have conversations or create spaces where people can have conversations about it. We are the UK community, as big as we are, the dance community is still like its own bubble. It's not like anyone is out of reach. Do you know what I mean? No one is out of reach. If you don't know, ask. You don't have to make some big post of, she doesn't know, haha. Like, it's not that deep. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's the same thing as if, like, when you're at uni and you're writing your dissertation and you put in a quote from another author, you have to reference that quote.
Perfect example.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, like, I'm not a house dancer. If I teach my kids, there's like a house move or so in a routine that I'm doing with whoever, I will say, these are house moves, and I will give them just like this much knowledge, but they know that I haven't just made that up. And then there's like this history to what they're now doing. So then, because we know people always copy dance stuff, right? All the time, everyone's always filtering stuff down. So long as that message is getting passed every step, we're still carrying the appreciation for the original culture. Instead of ending up with someone in the back room going, oh, I learnt this from Karen. Well, you didn't learn it from Karen because Karen stole it from Africa. So, like,
and the thing is, I want to make it clear as well, like, it is, when you look at African culture, it's so embracing. Same with Caribbean culture. It's so, all of these cultures, Indian culture, it's so embracing, and it's almost like a proud moment when they see like other people doing it, and it's like, oh my God, like, you know, they appreciate it, they love it, it's beautiful to see. So it's not a thing of don't do it, because really you can say that goes against the values of the culture itself. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm African, I'm from Nigeria, and I know, like, if you were to come to like my mum's house, my God, like, they're gonna want to feed you, they want to show you the outfits, they want you to hear this music do you know what I mean? Like, it's so embracing. So it's not a thing of we don't want you to do it, but the longevity and the preservation of that culture relies on you to appreciate and respect it. And this is so simple. Absolutely. It's so simple.
When you put it that plainly, that black and white, there really is nothing to fight, and there are really no questions around it. Like, it's not, you know, it's not a sort of situation.
Sorry, guys. I know I went off on a tangent. I'm really passionate about that subject.
No. We love passion, and we need all the education we can on it for everyone. So yeah, I love that. I love all the information. I actually I was doing Brian Friedman's Play For You choreo however many weeks ago, and he actually said they wanted to do a belly dancing, like Egyptian kind of belly dancing section. Obviously, he's not trained in that style. I know it's Britney, so it's bigger budgets and XYZ, but they brought in an Egyptian belly dancer to teach them and create a part with them, and it was that simple. Like that simple. So yeah, amazing.
So it can happen. It's not impossible.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not. So along the I know you're gonna have strong feelings about this one too, but along the same thread. So how do you feel about the use of the word urban? You know, there's been
Lord, you're gonna make me foam at the mouth. I'm gonna start foaming at the mouth and spitting at the camera.
I was like, right, we've eased her in now. Now we can let's get to the nitty gritty.
So I'm gonna post a question to people who are watching.
Yeah.
What does the word urban mean? What does it signify? What is it? So you walk into a room and the teacher, the choreographer, whoever is teaching urban choreography. What does that look like? Right? What does it look like? And I know I always approach these questions like some fucking lecturer in university. But like I always like to decipher things before I answer them, because what I don't understand is the attachment. So I watched a few lives in the last week about this topic, because I know it's a heavy topic in the US.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the attachment to it. And I don't understand the need to create an alternative word for things that exist already.
Right.
Like I don't, and for me, urban, when you say urban, it's a way of you to say Black dance or culture without taking on the accountability and heaviness that might come with it. So when you say urban, you just want to mix oats with crunchy nut and that without having to separate everything. What is the why do we need to create an alternative word for something that already exists?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Some people might say, you know, I've heard some people say, oh, it's because it signifies an amalgamation of different, you know, foundations and variations, and you know, that's a fusion, no? Or it's just your choreography, no?
Yeah.
Like, what is the, if I can understand, so I'm asking myself this question, and I'm asking other people, because I'm not like, it's not like I'm already clued up in everything and, you know, I'm set for life, I'm good. I can still learn as well. So what is the attachment to that label, and what does it signify for people who use it as well? What does it signify for them? And if we were to take away that word, is it that taking away that word then means that it poses a question to you as a teacher, as a choreographer, and you're going to be forced to ask yourself, what is it that I actually do? Do you know what I mean? What do I do? If we had to take away that word urban from what describes me as a teacher, choreographer, which, you know, yeah, it's a fusion of different stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if I had to take that out away, is it because it strips you of what is your identity? Like, what is, like, I'm going to try and read some of the
I mean, I think that was Richie's point. She said that before, that she sees the word urban as choreography based with multiple varies of foundations. So it's like a mixing pot of different styles. For me, the word urban means like in a city. That's what the actual like word means. Like
like in terms of geographically,
right. So then I feel what's happening in like casting rooms and that kind of, and briefs and that kind of stuff, that message has been lost and it's just been all of a sudden become Black or ethnic. And I don't know when that flip happened. Same way that like afros are now edgy. The amount of briefs that I get looking for, you know, urban, edgy, in brackets, ideally an afro. Like, the hair that grows out the top of my head isn't edgy. It's just
my hair.
My head. And the colour of my skin doesn't make me urban. I grew up in Cambridge. I still live there now. There's green fields everywhere. I couldn't be further from urban. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like, I don't know where that crossover happened and why. It's just
that the racial connotation to it, and I'm not saying everyone who uses it in that way, but just the why would you want to be so attached to something that there's such a racial connotation to it? I've had conversations with people, and because it would be directly offensive to say, oh, you know, we want someone who can just do those, you know, those black dances, you know, those black dances, you know, we just want someone who can do that. Instead, now suddenly, replace Black with urban, suddenly that sentence becomes okay, right? It's like, oh, you know, we want someone who just has that urban feel. It just has that, you know, no, bitch, what you mean is you want me to do that Black thing. You want me, like, that's what you mean. Do you know what I mean? And part of it is, it's so microaggressive, and Like it's such a head fuck that and it's like, so a lot of people have asked me, oh, but well, what do we replace it with? It's your choreography. If you're someone who fuses a lot, it's your choreography, because you fuse so many different styles. Let's say you're someone who is disciplined in, say, 5 or 6 different styles. Is it every choreography that you're using all 5, 6 different disciplines in your, like that you're trained in? No, you might say, okay, today it's going to be more of a hip hop type fusion. You might get some, jazz in there. It's your choreography. That's it. Like, why are we so attached to this word? It's like universities as well. There's degrees that's like urban dance degree or something like that. And in that, it's a bit of African, it's a bit of hip hop, it's a bit of just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just don't. But again, I'm open to still learning, and I'm not saying everyone who uses it in a racially demeaning way, but because it always has that undertone of it, and if people are saying, "Oh, just get rid of it," well, what's the issue? It's not going to stop you from doing what you're doing. It's not going to stop. I think what it is it's going to affect people's coin. It's going to affect people's coin, because when you have to be booked for something, let's say for a workshop. Oh, okay, well, what style are you teaching? Suddenly, fuck.
They don't have the label anymore.
What's that? It's your choreography. It's your choreography. That's it. Like, I don't know how other people in the comments feel about it, but that's just where I've never used the word before, because I haven't needed to, and I don't really see what the big deal is. Like, just get rid of the word.
Yeah.
Like, it's not needed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not on the fence. I mean, I'm more towards that it's not needed and we can just move from it. Like, there's no need, and how like I don't like being described as urban or edgy. Like, those aren't two things that are me. And if you're automatically placing that label on me because of the color of my skin, then there's an issue.
So that connotation, exactly what they mean. Even if okay, let's just flip it on its head. If I, as a casting agent, I approach a white girl and I say, we want you to be more urban, she's gonna know exactly what that means. And what that means is they want you to emulate blackness.
Right.
Like, let's keep it real and funky. Like, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Like, so suddenly it's like, if we get rid of that word, you're going to have to change your language. You're going to have to acknowledge black culture. You're going to have to feel comfortable saying black culture.
Yes.
And people don't want to do that because they still feel weird about saying it.
Yeah. And I think maybe they feel weird because maybe one, they're appropriating it, so they have no actual understanding of the culture. I think there might be some people that's why they would use that term urban, because they don't really know what they're borrowing or what they're using or what they're trying to look for. That's why they don't want to say it. And also the whole like just the whole race issues and like non-black people not being able to like confront someone's blackness, if that makes sense, and not being able to openly say, oh, show me some of your African culture, and then being told, oh, actually I'm African, I'm Jamaican. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you're Jamaican. Do you know what I mean? There's that kind of still that disconnect in the conversation where people don't feel open to have them conversations and find out more, so they'll just kind of slap the term urban on it and go, so no, we don't have to discuss it or dig any deeper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tyra just said something. She went to university and did urban practices, but the people who were teaching it didn't actually know what they were teaching.
Right. Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Like, make it make sense. But yeah, anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just very standard. Like, I wouldn't teach a Spanish lesson because I only know 6 words. So,
like,
it's there's work to be done. But have you like, are there any positive things that you've seen recently, most over the past like month or so, like changes, shifts in companies and way that people approach people? Is there anything that's really like stood out to you and you've gone, okay, like I didn't expect that maybe, or like you're doing a little bit
I think it's great that, you know, you do get some companies who have openly, you know, been for the movement, and they always have been. So this isn't like a, you know, like a new thing. You have agents like Free Your Style. They're always like, not even just about race issues, the issues that need to be addressed, and they've always kind of shown where they stand. So I think it's you know, it's great, and we can't all pretend like we haven't been sitting on our phones like, so when's he gonna say something? When are they gonna say you know, right. You know, that one day you're like,
breakfast every day, but I've seen nothing. Do you know what I mean?
And you're like, it's been 25 days and you ain't said shit. Do you know what I mean? And I get like it's but the people who have, because it's difficult, it's such a difficult conversation. I've been following this page called Pull Up or Shut Up, and it's basically a call out to the beauty and fashion industry to show their stats on their demographics, so how much Black people sit on their decision making seats, and if it's below the threshold, and it's not just, oh, we want your numbers to be high, because you have to look at your location and geographically how many percentage of Black people make up the population, and it has to match up. So I think in America it's 10%, and you know, you have a few people who are below the threshold, and they had to commit to what they were going to do to improve that. So I really respect, and you know, whether they're going to do it is a different story, but I think it's great that people are, you know, showing where they stand and, you know, just showing solidarity. But I think the important thing to happen is what's going to happen next. After that, like, how are we going to upkeep this? Like, how are you going to implement this? It's all great that you've put, you know, Blackout Tuesday, and you know, you're putting up the fist and stuff, but what happens after that? So it's difficult to tell, because at the moment all people can do is show their solidarity, especially in the dance industry. I think we'll see the change once things start getting back to normal. But I do sense that people they're reading a lot, they're watching a lot, or they're observing, and they're, as uncomfortable as it might be, but you know, I feel like people are doing it, but I'm more of a proof is in the pudding kind of girl. So I think where it's going to get really difficult is when there is a specific scenario, and the next move is going to determine whether all of this allyship that you've been doing this last 3 months is really going to come into play. I think that's when people are going to be tested. But on the positive note, I think it's great that people are, you know, people are more aware, people are showing their solidarity, people are showing where they stand. Like I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Keek said it's a marathon, not a sprint, and I completely agree.
100%.
If this is going to be lasting and have longevity in all of our lives, and not just in our industry, it's got to be consistently from now forward. And these awkward conversations and difficult feelings are not going to go away overnight. It's going to keep happening. So yeah, like I've had a few not even difficult conversations, because they were with people that I love and that actually were so open to learning. But you know, it's not the most comfortable thing to talk about in the world.
No, of course not.
Never discussed it before. So but it's I mean, with people that you love and people that you care about, it's a different conversation to say if you're on a job, for example. That's a different feeling. I did some extra work on a job for a series, and we were like protesting against this woman, right, who'd made some decisions. It was supposed to be some like weird dark comedy. This woman had made some decisions which meant loads of people were stuck up in space or something, And they handed us all these like placards and protest boards.
Mm-hmm.
And on the board, she's a black woman, and on the board it was a picture of her with a pile of shit on her head, and underneath it said shit hair, shit person, and various different images to that effect. Yes, exactly.
Oh,
right, exactly.
Jesus.
So I immediately uncomfortable. I wasn't the only person of colour there. There were lots of other people, and many white people there as well felt like this was not right. This was maybe about, I'd say maybe a year ago. So I approached the team, like one of the runners, and I just said, like, listen, this is so tone deaf. Like, this is really just not okay. And it was funny because everybody I spoke to up the chain had a really like, oh my God, we're so sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry we've offended you. Yeah, we'll get them taken down like instantly. I mean, at that point in the first place. But my issue was the fact that it got to the man in charge, basically the guy that had written it all. And that was where I faced the most resistance. Everyone else along the chain up until then had been like, please tell us why it was so offensive. Like, we just didn't understand. We want to make sure we don't make this mistake again. And then the guy on top of it all was, his words to me were, we will watch it back when we film it, and if we think it's racist, we'll take it out, but if not, we'll leave it in. And I said to him, it's not for you to decide that, because it doesn't.
I was just about to say.
And it doesn't concern you, so you cannot make that decision. Yeah, so I've never actually. Yeah, that's all you can do, really, at that time, I guess. Have you ever been in a difficult situation that you've ever had a good outcome from, or?
Do you know what? It's weird because I think a few years ago I kind of made a decision to only put myself in spaces that I'm either in control of or I can have influence over. So it's been a while. I think off the top of my head and off the cuff, what I remember is I do get a lot of weird remarks when it comes to hair. And I'm sure a lot of, ladies and guys even can probably relate to this. And because I'm quite versatile with my hair, so a lot of people probably seen that 1 minute I'm bald and then the next minute, like, I've got like a 26-inch wig, and then I've got like blue hair, and I just like to be able to do that stuff. And I got hired for this job, and I had said to them, oh, by the way, like, I have braids like in, which I had already sent a picture, but I was just like, just to let you know, like, I've got braids in my hair, and they were kind of like, oh, but we were kind of hoping, like, you could like maybe bring some of your straight wigs, so that first of all, you're gonna have to pay me to take these braids out.
Right. Do you know
like,
the time? Like,
my G. Because when I was sending you pictures, there was no straight. I sent you the picture with my braids, and you booked me based off of that. And now you want to tell me about straight wig and what, like?
Yeah.
Oh, we just thought that it would be fun because with you, like, we can change it up, because like you're bald underneath and you've got these great braids and you can have the straight hair, and we can. Nah, B. Is there something in the job that requires me to have it? If not, man ain't no Barbie doll. I'm not a fucking Barbie doll that you can just be coming and playing hairdresser. Like, so if you're going to pay me £200 to take my braids out to do it again, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. But no. And I didn't want to take my braids out anyway. The ones that, like, the braids are tight as well. They're still new. They're still new. And you're like, nah, B.
You're not taking that out, no.
I've been sitting here for 8 hours and you want me to take my braids out to come and put a wig on my hair for you to then say, oh, actually, we don't want the wig. That's what they wanted to be able to do. Nah. We're not doing that. I'm not the one. Like, no, oh, I guess it's, oh, you guessed right. Like, no. And the thing is, like, this is what I'm saying, in situations like this, like, you'll be surprised at the outcome. If you, obviously, like, I didn't speak like that, but I was very, like, assertive and very, like, matter of fact that it, like, this is what it is. Unless there is a specific reason why I need to have this, then, like, it's not happening. And, you know, there's ways that you can go about, like, speaking up, like, for yourself, without feeling like, oh, they're going to drop me from the job, or they're going, or this is going to happen and this is going to happen. Like,
Yeah,
nah. Maybe it's my age, maybe it's an age thing, like, maybe because I'm, like, a little bit older, I feel more confident. I know there's a lot of, you know, like, uni graduates who've just come out, and, you know, it might be their first job, and, you know, and, but this is where your agents come in. This is where your agents, your representatives, like, this is where they should come in. And if you don't feel comfortable dealing with, you know, those weird and awkward conversations, my G, that is why you are giving them the 15, 17.5, 20, 20, however much it is now, because it's different every time. That's why you're giving them that percentage. So if you don't want to have that, like, this is where, and the thing is, you need to be able to have faith and confidence that your agent is going to be able to step up.
Yeah.
Or your representation is going to be able to step up and say, is there a reason? Do you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to be going through that, try to tell man to take man's braids out.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think if you feel like you can have that conversation with your agent and your agent can back you, they're not the right agent for you. They're not doing your job right.
And I'm not saying that I wouldn't be open to, like, obviously, if it's a job that, you know, oh, all the girls are required to have braids, or, you know, I've seen jobs where, like, it's just part of the look, it's part of the overall, like, artistry and stuff. Of course, no problem. But I think because it was never in the brief, it was never something that was even, do you know what I mean? And the job wasn't even that deep, to be honest. And the picture I sent was the braid you sent me, but I think they had gone through my Instagram. Right. And they had seen that, like, oh, we can play dress up. Like, no. Yeah, someone said start invoicing for hairstyles. Listen, let me tell you, yeah, you'll be shocked. But yeah, anyway, moving on.
It's funny, actually, because how long ago was that scenario?
This was, you know, it wasn't even that long ago, you know. It was, I would probably say, like 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh, interesting. Because I feel like now there's been a shift because of the whole cultural appropriation and, like, Kim Kardashian and her braids. There's a whole shift with the braid thing now. And I used to now, like, people love me to wear my braids and want them on jobs. But before, I was my afro, basically. It was like, no, we need an afro. We need someone that's edgy. We need the urban. We need, you know, hair. And so then and I feel like they do that to a lot of black people. They put you in that box. I mean, they do that all over the place in our industry anyway. If you're blonde, you're in that box, whatever. But, like, you just become the hair. And it's like, oh no, I just want an afro, so I'm just gonna have that girl. She's got an afro, yeah, great. And it's like, no, you can't change your hair. You can't do anything different with it. And it's just reducing you down to something that you actually have no control over.
Exactly.
And we all know black hair love is a journey within itself. And if you're not there within yourself, and then that's all what you're getting from outside, it can be super difficult, especially if you're new to the industry and you don't know how to manage that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I agree. It's definitely an age thing as well, when you kind of just grow into it and you end up getting to a point where you're just like, you know what, fuck it. I am who I am. I am how I am, and I will be rocking my crown however I deem fit. Right.
Exactly.
It's just that. Will this be saved? Yes, this will be saved now. Absolutely. On that, like, same thread as, like, hair and stuff, how have you felt on jobs in, like, regards to, like, makeup, and how, like, how hairstylists have been able to cope with your hair and do them and things like that?
That's it's a reoccurring subject that always comes up, you know, in the commercial world. I was in a Zoom session speaking about even theatre and, like, musical theatre as well, and it's so mad that it's a thing. Like, that, you know, you go on these jobs and you know, as a black or brown person, it's like, oh God, the shade's a bit, oh, sorry, we don't have your shade. And then you're spending 15-20 minutes. My G, you only have 40 minutes per girl. Like, don't they send picture? You've been sent pictures, right? But you're coming here to be doing mixologist and be doing cocktail mixer. Like, what's happening?
Are they just, would they not be absolutely mortified as well? Because my best friend is a makeup artist and she prides herself on the fact that no matter who sits in her chair, she will have foundation that fits that person. She will know what colors complement their skin, and she's not a hairstylist.
Thank you.
Job title, but she will have tools to work on anybody's hair. Like, she'll message me like, oh, Fab, what do you use for your hair type? And like, oh, I've got this girl that's got really much coarser hair. Can you recommend anything? That's all it takes.
I think even let's not make it a black thing, right? Let's say because I'm assuming that part of the process would be to, you know, you send the makeup artist, you know, the list of girls that you're gonna do. Let's say someone who is so my friend Keeks, for instance, she's next door. We live together. She's vegan, right? And so some of the makeups that she can use on her face, she can't use some of the like, I can probably just use anything like on my face because my skin's not really sensitive like that, whereas hers might be. Or you might have someone who's Asian that might have more sense. Even just as a makeup artist in general, should you not be able to cater to that? So it's not even just a black thing. Like, it's just in general, your job requires you to do that. No, and if you only specialize in a particular skin tone, and you've been sent this job where, okay, there's going to be 3 white girls, 3 Asian girls, 5 black girls, or whatever. So you know that you're going to have to do an all-rounder. So what did you think you was going to be coming here to do mixologist on my face? Like, what? That's not okay. Like, that's not okay. And I know, like, I'm making it like comedic and stuff, but it's really frustrating. And I've seen some girls on jobs, and I'm not going to bait out the job because I feel like that will bait out the agent and the production company, but I've seen some girls who they can't say that, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, they're really gonna make this girl go on stage like this, right? Like, they're really gonna make her go on stage. And it's one of them ones where, especially when the outfits reveal like your neckline, right? But then so your face is looking mad ghostly, looking like Casper up in here, and then you're just seeing like the brown. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm just thinking like, how dare you? Do you know what I mean? This person, this dancer has been through this rehearsal process, they've been through this audition process, they've been through all of these things, and they can't even feel good about the final performance stage. Do you know what I mean? Those tiny little things, like, we underestimate how important those things are to us as dancers. Same with hair, like, and I know guys go through it as well. Coming in here, you want to come and line up my hair mad, like, listen, if you can't this is so African of me, but if you can't barb my hair, don't be coming here to do barber. Like, if you can't barb this specific type of hair, just don't come here with your clippers. Right. Like, it's not okay.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I just, and the issue with the hair and makeup thing, I think it goes way deep, all the way back to their training. Because I've heard from so many people, like, you get taught like European hair, but you have to do black as an extra. Like, black hair isn't included in your training. And I'm sure my friend told me that when they do their training for like makeup and stuff, they cover white skin tones, and they get maybe a few here and there, maybe an Asian one, maybe a black one. So they get so much less time to learn about the colors and the undertones and all that kind of stuff. So it goes way back to their training. But as far as I'm concerned, as a grown person, if you want to work in this industry, knowing there are people from all ethnic backgrounds, that is your duty to look that up and learn that if you didn't get it from your training.
And I think I was asking, I don't know if it was, I think it might have been a conversation we were having with Richie and Lily. And I was like, whose actual job is it to ensure that these things are taken care of? And I don't know if it was Lily or Richie. Hey guys, I think yeah, they said it's the production company, and I get that, you know, there are some niggly bits where like they might have hired a whole company that includes like the lighting and the makeup artist and the stage manager, and I get it, like, and that's amazing. Do you know what I mean? But as a production, if you know that you're bringing this melting pot of people in, and who you've hired can't cater to it, so you're basically just saying, oh, let's just hope that they don't say anything. Let's just hope that no one complains. That's kind of that's crazy, and it needs to. It's not okay. Like it, there is no part of that that's okay. Like
No.
because that's a decision. That's a conscious decision.
Yes. To exclude
Like
people, which is dehumanizing and
yeah,
belittling, and to put someone in that position when they're on a job as well is just incredibly thoughtless. Cece was saying she was on an award show and she got told, sorry, we don't do your kind of hair.
I wonder if it's the same award show. I didn't want to say the award show, you know, but that is the example I was given, and I don't know if it's the same award show, but I experienced that on an award show. It might not have been the same year, but I experienced it, that, and I was flabbergasted. I was like, hey, so you want to be coming to do up, yeah, so you're doing up Instagram, because after you're going to be on Instagram, like, yeah, I did makeup for the so-and-so awards, but meanwhile, you made me look ashy, my G. So what's happening here?
Right.
Like, it's not, yeah, no, it's not. And the thing is, it's not even a thing where you have to hire a black makeup artist. No, hire a makeup artist, black, Asian, white, whatever, that knows how to cater to everyone.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Like simple.
Yeah, like I go to jobs with my hair prepped because so many times I've sat on that chair and then just looked at it and just gone.
And then that.
No, you're good.
You know, and then don't forget the little spray.
Yeah, with the Tresemme, and I'm like,
girl, you ain't doing shit with that spray. The fuck you mean? Like,
yeah, like really,
stop it.
Yeah, it's that. I think that's one of the biggest changes for our industry that has to really, really shift, because it's just not on. We have got 45 seconds remaining, so I'm gonna jump back in. So
okay.
Come back in.
Okay. See you soon.
Add her. Hey, Jack. I see you. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How, can you hear me first of all? Because I've got my earphones in today.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. Okay. Hi, everyone.
Hey,
hello.
Jack. How's your day been, my love?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been an interesting one, but yeah, that's a different topic for another day. But generally, yeah, I'm good. I'm up and down, overwhelmed, but still hanging in there. What about you? How are you?
Yeah, I've had a really lovely day today. I mean, I think the sun lifts everybody's mood, doesn't it?
For sure.
Yeah, so long as it's nice and beautiful outside, I find it much easier to keep myself in a positive mind frame. But yeah, how have the last few weeks been for you? How have you found
it's been, to be honest, it's been quite draining and overwhelming, and I think more overwhelming now because I've always been well aware of, you know, the issues that have arisen recently, but I think because we've all been forced to stay at home, you're kind of forced to listen to know every single thing, and if you're an empath like myself, you feel it even more. So yeah, it's been overwhelming, but also it's been empowering as well. It's forced me to make certain life shifts and be very conscious with decisions that I've either made in the past or about to make as well. So I'm in a very specific point in my life at the moment. So draining but empowered. I would say.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. Like, obviously, because it's funny having conversations with people who have never experienced racism or discrimination in any type of way, and how shocked they actually are that they that this is such a daily thing that happens to everybody. And so people think, oh, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday actually, and she was like, well, why now? Why is it a thing now? And I was saying, well, it's always been an issue. It's never not been something that people have been trying to correct. And people have been doing things to forward this movement on various scales for hundreds of years. But I think that because now everyone's forced to be at home, like you said, we're all stuck here. We're forced to confront those kind of feelings. And exactly like you said, for us, because for me, I'm a very empathetic person as well, and to see that kind of stuff every day is super draining for me also. Yeah, it's been an emotional roller coaster too. But it's just finding the way now of leveling those waves, I guess, and being able to still do everything that we need to do.
Exactly.
And keep educated. But
exactly.
Yeah. What have you found like the most important thing is throughout this that like people are doing when you're having conversations with people and stuff?
I think self-reflection has been a big one for a lot of people. And sometimes when you have to ask yourself a question, people are scared of the answer.
Yes.
That they, do you know what I mean? Because it means that you have to acknowledge the part that you have played, whether that's consciously or subconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly. The answer is very scary, and I think a lot of people have had to do that. And in those answers, I don't believe in spoon feeding people, and I don't think that it is. I'm happy to give people sort of the tools that they need to educate themselves, but it's sort of not our position to sit people down and educate. That's not my role. But I think self-reflection has been a big one, because again, in those answers, you're kind of forced to then dig a little bit deeper, in which case, instead of someone battering you with, you need to educate yourself, because you've answered that question, you go looking for more answers, and you go looking for more, and you're like, well, how come this happened? And it can be overwhelming, because then you have all of this information, right? And you're like, what the hell do I do with all this information? So I think the most important thing at the moment, definitely has been self-reflection. I found that a lot of people in the space of 2-3 weeks have probably learned more than they probably learned in their lifetime, which is, which is amazing. Like, and I think for me, the next step is, what are you going to do with that information?
Yeah.
Absolutely. How are you gonna implement it in your daily life? How are you gonna speak up on it when it's no longer, an uproar in the media and in the community? How what changes are you gonna commit to doing in your daily life and in your environment as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just hold fire 1 second. I'm just gonna block this person. Yeah, there we go.
Oh God, yeah, I've been seeing. I was trying to ignore it, and I was like, oh Lord.
Where have we got? Okay, cool. Yeah. So, are there any things that you feel like people can do moving forward, both within our industry and like wider in everyday life, like that will best help them stay informed? And
I mean, I guess it depends on what your lifestyle already is. I think once you are well educated in any subject, you are gonna naturally feel empowered and more confident to call out issues. This isn't a political issue, so we're not asking people to be clued up on the polls and do you know what I mean? Like, this is humanity, this is human rights, this is diversity and equality issues. These are things that affect our lives on a daily. So I would say for people to be, more aware of their surroundings, and just being able to speak up and not ignore stuff. Or how do you recognize microaggression? Because I found that in looking at the US and comparing it to the UK, I know a lot of people have said, oh, it's not really that bad in the US, but some might argue and say, actually, in the UK, because microaggression, it's more psychological. It's almost like, oh my God, did that happen? Am I doing too much? And then you're going, there's this whirlwind, right? If you have to question it, it's happening.
Right, absolutely.
It's happening.
Yeah, and I feel like, sorry, there's someone else I need to block as well. I don't know
what is going on.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and I feel like because it's microaggressions and it's smaller and it's not all the time, but it's often not as blatant as like a gunning. It's then harder for Black people to stand up and say, no, this person did that. And it's easier for other people to go, oh, you're being too sensitive, or no, she didn't mean it like that. So it's easier for people to deny that it's going on. So I completely agree. I think
I get it. Like it's scary, especially if we're speaking specifically about the dance industry and the commercial scene. I get that it's scary because you don't want to be blacklisted. You don't want to be seen as, you know, the person that's a troublemaker. You don't want to be seen, but some things are greater than what job you're gonna keep, or what agent is gonna, and that speaks more for that person than it does for you. Do you know what I mean? So like, I know that I would want, if something happened to me, touch wood, God forbid, but if something happened, I would want people to speak just as loudly for me, because I am willing to do that for anyone else. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's a shame that people even have to think about things like that in this industry. Like, oh, but I don't want to get blacklisted. I don't want to be that person. But for me, your morals and values should override any of those things all day, every day.
100%. And often, actually, I was talking to my white family about this, and I was saying that if you're going to go to the severe end of the scenario, if I'm having a conversation with a racist and trying to change their opinion or something, they are not going to listen to that opinion purely because of the color of my skin. They won't hear it from me. So I think for non-Black people to speak up about it can be so much more powerful because they can be listened to in a way that might not be from certain people.
But even in that, there's something so I don't even know if I'm allowed to swear on here, but there's something so fucked even about that in itself. Do you know what I mean? Because I hear what you're saying, and I actually agree, and I do think that if our white counterparts are seeing, you know, that these things are happening, like, you also need to, because these aren't issues that Black people have created. Like, we haven't created it. So yes, I do expect you to speak up. Speak to your people then. Yes, you should. Do you know what I mean? But even in that, where it's like having to put that level of, I don't want to say pressure, but I'm going to say pressure because I don't have any other word, but having to put that pressure, it's fucked. The fact knowing that you might not listen to me saying it, but you might listen to my white counterpart. Do you know what I mean? And there's something in that, for me, I'm going to speak for myself, that makes me want to speak even louder, because in that there is still that question of diversity and equality. Why won't you listen to me as a Black woman, but you will listen to my white counterpart? Do you know what I mean? And again, that says something more about the individual that you're trying to address than it does about the person. And I know for me, I would still love for, you know, allies and counterparts to speak out, but I also want my voice to be heard. So for me, I'm still going to be just as loud.
Absolutely.
Like, you're going to listen to me, and you're going to listen to my white counterpart, and you're going to listen to my Asian counterpart, and do you know what I mean? You're going to listen to all of us equally. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Sorry, went off on a tangent there.
No. It's all completely relevant, but yeah, I think it's so true, and I think that's what's so beautiful about now, is that so many people are feeling empowered to use their voice, and so many people are doing that whole, fuck it, I don't care if I lose my job, I'm gonna speak on this. Because I don't want to work with them people anyway, if that's really how they feel. Like people have lost family members, friends close to them, because they've had to speak out and say, like, no, this is my truth, you have to hear me now. And it will take time for everybody to fully understand it, which is right now for sure. But yeah, I think it's so brilliant that people are empowered in their voices and are speaking up.
Agreed.
Beautiful.
Agreed.
So, what have you? I wanted to ask, because obviously you work a lot in like the Afro scene. Have you ever experienced or like firsthand like viewed cultural appropriation, more specific dance world or even
oh God. I mean, I think we all know the answer to this question. Even outside of the Afro scene, like I've definitely experienced it. But every time this question comes up, right, I always like to pose the question to the viewers, to whoever's watching, even to myself sometimes, what is cultural appropriation? And sometimes it's actually hard to put it into words sometimes. So I'm going to read a little. I'm a bit of a geek, so I have got notes. There were certain things that I really wanted it to be quite specific. Yes. So I read this amazing definition, right? Yes. And it said, when cultural elements are copied from a minority culture by members of a dominant culture, these elements are used outside of their original cultural context, sometimes even against the expressly stated wishes of members of the originating culture.
Yeah.
And for me, that just, because we can talk about it all day. Like we can give examples, we can say, but when we're speaking about it, for you to recognize what cultural appropriation or misappropriation is, you have to actually know what it means for it to happen. I have seen it, I have experienced it, I have called it out, I have been in the middle of it, I have been slated because I speak too much about cultural appropriation. And when you deep it, right, the people that the culture that you're appropriating, it's not like they're asking for things like royalty or anything like that. All it is acknowledge where it is that you, and respect where it is that it's coming from. Can you just imagine, right, if for every time you used anything from the Black culture, you had to pay royalties? Because you don't want to give credit, right? And you don't want to, something so small, something so simple, and something that it doesn't cost you anything, right? So imagine if you had to pay for every time that you use that elements from that culture. What the hell would happen?
Yeah.
Like it would be mad. And listen, people back home would be rich as fuck. Let me tell you that. They'd be rich as fuck. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, it's such a simple ask. Representation can eliminate cultural appropriation. Giving credit can eliminate cultural appropriation. Do you know what I mean? Educating people, something so simple. I'll use a couple of Afro moves. This is from, do you know what I mean? Even if it doesn't have to be some news blast, like, oh, let me put it in Sky News, BBC News. Like, it's just so that the longevity of that culture relies on you educating it, especially if you have such a big platform, right? So say like, okay, all of a sudden, this artist uses, moves from the dancehall culture, but for the mass, that the demographic that it's being portrayed to, they have no clue, right? So as far as they're concerned, it's this new thing. So then they take it and then they think it's something else. What happens to the culture you've taken it from? It goes like this, and then this, and then this. Yep. All it is uplifting the culture that you have taken it from, so that people can then go and do what they will with it. That's it. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's crazy that it's a topic that's always coming up, because it can be balanced out with simple solutions. You know that you don't do Afro, for example. You know full well you don't do the Afro. So instead of fighting for, okay, let's create a budget where we can bring someone who specializes in it, who can be a consultant or assistant or wherever it is that you want to call it, who's going to come in, make sure that we're doing it right, make sure that it takes nothing. It takes nothing. Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
So in answer to your question, yes.
Yeah.
I have, and I try my best to, you know, you want to do the soft approach and like, oh, you know, did you know that? You know, do you know what I mean? Like you're trying to eliminate the whole like, oh, angry black woman, but like at the end of the day now, like it's getting peak. So now, like now, man's coming guns blazing because you didn't want to listen before. But then when that happens, it's like, oh my God, you should be happy though that we're even using your culture. No, don't tell me that we should be happy because you're making money from it. You should be happy. Like I'm demanding you to do this because you're making money. You're making peas from it. Do you know what I mean? So it's something that I'm so passionate about it. And I try my best to where I can. I'm not going to claim that I know it all, but I try my best to, you know, have conversations or create spaces where people can have conversations about it. We are the UK community, as big as we are, the dance community is still like its own bubble. It's not like anyone is out of reach. Do you know what I mean? No one is out of reach. If you don't know, ask. You don't have to make some big post of, she doesn't know, haha. Like, it's not that deep. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I completely agree. I think it's the same thing as if like when you're at uni and you're writing your dissertation and you put in a quote from another author, you have to reference that quote.
Perfect example.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, like I'm not a house dancer. If I teach my kids there's like a house move or so in a routine that I'm doing with whoever, I will say these are house moves, and I will give them just like this much knowledge, but they know that I haven't just made that up, and then there's like a history to what they're now doing. So then, because we know people always copy dance stuff, right? All the time, everyone's always filtering stuff down. So long as that message is getting passed every step, we're still carrying the appreciation for the original culture. Instead of ending up with someone in the back room going, oh, I learnt this from Karen. Well, you didn't learn it from Karen because Karen stole it from Africa. So, and
the thing is, I want to make it clear as well, like it is, when you look at African culture, it's so embracing. Same with Caribbean culture. It's so, all of these cultures, Indian culture, it's so embracing, and it's almost like a proud moment when they see like other people doing it, and it's like, oh my God, like, you know, they appreciate it, they love it, it's beautiful to see. So it's not a thing of don't do it, because really you can say that goes against the values of the culture itself. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm African, I'm from Nigeria, and I know, like, if you were to come to like my mum's house, my God, like they're gonna want to feed you, they want to show you the outfits, they want you to hear this music do you know what I mean? Like it's so embracing. So it's not a thing of we don't want you to do it, but the longevity and the preservation of that culture relies on you to appreciate and respect it. And this is so simple. Absolutely. It's so simple.
Yeah. When you put it that plainly, that black and white, there really is nothing to fight, and there are really no questions around it. Like, it's not, you know, it's not a sort of situation.
Sorry, guys. I know I went off on a tangent. I'm really passionate about that subject.
No. We love passion, and we need all the education we can on it for everyone. So yeah, I love that. I love all the information. I actually I was doing Brian Friedman's Play For You choreo however many weeks ago, and he actually said they wanted to do a belly dancing, like Egyptian kind of belly dancing section. Obviously, he's not trained in that style. I know it's Britney, so it's bigger budgets and XYZ, but they brought in an Egyptian belly dancer to teach them and create a part with them, and it was that simple. That simple. So yeah, amazing.
So it can happen. It's not impossible.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not. So along the I know you're gonna have strong feelings about this one too, but along the same thread. So how do you feel about the use of the word urban? You know, there's been
Lord, you're gonna make me foam at the mouth. I'm gonna start foaming at the mouth and spitting at the camera.
I was like, right, we've Easter in now. Now we can let's get to the nitty gritty.
So I'm gonna post a question to people who are watching.
Yeah.
What does the word urban mean? What does it signify? What what is it? So you walk into a room and the teacher, the choreographer, whoever is teaching urban choreography. What does that look like? Right? What does it look like? And I know I always approach these questions like some fucking lecturer in university. But like I always like to decipher things before I answer them, because what I don't understand is the attachment. So I watched a few lives in the last week about this topic, because I know it's a heavy topic in the US.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the attachment to it. And I don't understand the need to create an alternative word for things that exist already.
Right.
Like I don't, and for me, urban, when you say urban, it's a way of you to say Black dance or culture without taking on the accountability and heaviness that might come with it. So when you say urban, you just want to mix oats with crunchy nut and that without having to separate everything. What is the why do we need to create an alternative word for something that already exists?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Some people might say, you know, I've heard some people say, oh, it's because it signifies an amalgamation of different, you know, foundations and variations, and you know, that's a fusion, no? Or it's just your choreography, no?
Yeah.
Like, what is the, if I can understand, so I'm asking myself this question and I'm asking other people, because I'm not like, it's not like I'm already clued up in everything and, you know, I'm set for life, I'm good. I can still learn like as well. So what is the attachment to that label? And what does it signify for people who use it as well? What does it signify for them? And if we were to take away that word, is it that taking away that word then means that it poses a question to you as a teacher, as a choreographer, and you're going to be forced to ask yourself, what is it that I actually do? Do you know what I mean? What do I do? If we had to take away that word urban from what describes me as a teacher, choreographer, which, you know, yeah, it's a fusion of different stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if I had to take that out away, is it because it strips you of what is your identity? Like, what is, like, I'm going to try and read some of the
I mean, I think that was Richie's point. She said that before, that she sees the word urban as choreography based with multiple varies of foundations. So it's like a mixing pot of different styles. For me, the word urban means like in a city. That's what the actual like word means. Like like
in terms of geographically,
right. So then I feel what's happened in like casting rooms and that kind of, and briefs and that kind of stuff, that message has been lost and it's just been all of a sudden become Black or ethnic. And I don't know when that flip happened. Same way that like afros are now edgy. The amount of briefs that I get looking for, you know, urban, edgy, in brackets, ideally an afro. Like, the hair that grows out the top of my head isn't edgy. It's just
my hair.
Out of my head. And the colour of my skin doesn't make me urban. I grew up in Cambridge. I still live there now. There's green fields everywhere. I couldn't be further from urban. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like, I don't know where that crossover happened and why.
It's just that the racial connotation to it, and I'm not saying everyone who uses it in that way, but just the why would you want to be so attached to something that there's such a racial connotation to it? I've had conversations with people, and because it would be directly offensive to say, oh, you know, we want someone who can just do those, you know, those black dances, you know, those black dances, you know, we just want someone who can do that. Instead, now suddenly, replace Black with urban, suddenly that sentence becomes okay, right? It's like, oh, you know, we want someone who just has that urban feel, it just has that, you know, no, bitch, what you mean is, you want me to do that Black thing. You want me, like, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And part of it is it's so microaggressive, and it's like it's such a head fuck that I just, and it's like, so a lot of people have asked me, oh, but well, what do we replace it with? It's your choreography. If you're someone who fuses a lot, it's your choreography, because you fuse so many different styles. Let's say you're someone who is disciplined in, say, 5 or 6 different styles. Is it every choreography that you're using all 5, 6 different disciplines in your, like that you're trained in? No, you might say, okay, today it's going to be more of a hip hop type fusion. You might get some, jazz in there. It's your choreography. That's it. Like, why are we so attached to this word? It's like universities as well. There's degrees that's like urban dance degree or something like that. And in that, it's a bit of African, it's a bit of hip hop, it's a bit of just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just don't. But again, I'm open to still learning, and I'm not saying everyone who uses it in a racially demeaning way, but because it always has that undertone of it, and if people are saying, "Oh, just get rid of it," well, what's the issue? It's not going to stop you from doing what you're doing. It's not going to stop. I think what it is it's going to affect people's coin. I'm just going to be. It's going to affect people's coin, because when you have to be booked for something, let's say for a workshop. Oh, okay, well, what style are you teaching? Suddenly, fuck.
They don't have the label anymore.
What's that? It's your choreography. It's your choreography. That's it. Like, I don't know how other people in the comments feel about it, but that's just where I've never used the word before, because I haven't needed to, and I don't really see what the big deal is. Like, just get rid of the word.
Yeah.
Like, it's not needed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not on the fence. I mean, I'm more towards that it's not needed and we can just move from it. Like, there's no need, and how like I don't like being described as urban or edgy. Like, those aren't two things that are me. And if you're automatically placing that label on me because of the color of my skin, then there's an issue.
So that connotation, exactly what they mean. Even if okay, let's just flip it on its head. If I, as a casting agent, I approach a white girl and I say, we want you to be more urban, she's gonna know exactly what that means. And what that means is they want you to emulate blackness.
Right.
Like, let's keep it real and funky. Like, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Like, so suddenly it's like, if we get rid of that word, you're going to have to change your language. You're going to have to acknowledge Black culture. You're going to have to feel comfortable saying Black culture.
Yes.
And people don't want to do that because they still feel weird about saying it.
Yeah. And I think maybe they feel weird because maybe one, they're appropriating it, so they have no actual understanding of the culture. I think there might be some people that's why they would use that term urban, because they don't really know what they're borrowing or what they're using or what they're trying to look for. That's why they don't want to say it. And also the whole like just the whole race issues and like non-Black people not being able to like confront someone's blackness, if that makes sense, and not being able to openly say, oh, show me some of your African culture, and then being told, oh, actually I'm African, I'm Jamaican. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you're Jamaican. Do you know what I mean? There's that kind of still that disconnect in the conversation where people don't feel open to have them conversations and find out more, so they'll just kind of slap the term urban on it and go, so no, we don't have to discuss it or dig any deeper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Tyra just said something. She went to university and did urban practices, but the people who were teaching it didn't actually know what they were teaching.
Right.
Yeah. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Like, make it make sense. But yeah. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just very standard. Like, I wouldn't teach a Spanish lesson because I only know 6 words. So, like, it's yeah. Yeah, there's work to be done. But have you, like, are there any positive things that you've seen recently, or most over the past like month or so, like changes, shifts in companies and way that people approach people? Is there anything that's really like stood out to you and you've gone, okay, like I didn't expect that maybe, or like you're doing a little bit
I think it's great that, you know, you do get some companies who have openly, you know, been for the movement, and they always have been. So this isn't like a, you know, like a new thing. You have agents like Free Your Style. They're always like, not even just about race issues that need to be addressed, and they've always kind of shown where they stand. So I think it's you know, it's great, and we can't all pretend like we haven't been sitting on our phones like, so when's he gonna say something? When are they gonna say? You know, right. You know, that ones there you're like,
breakfast every day, but I've seen nothing. Do you know what I mean?
And you're like, it's been 25 days and you ain't said shit. Do you know what I mean? And I get like it's but the people who have, because it's difficult, it's such a difficult conversation. I've been following this page called Pull Up or Shut Up, and it's basically a call out to the beauty and fashion industry to show their stats on their demographics, so how much Black people sit on their decision making seats, and if it's below the threshold, and it's not just, oh, we want your numbers to be high, because you have to look at your location and geographically how many percentage of Black people make up the population, and it has to match up. So I think in America it's 10%, and you know, you have a few people who are below the threshold, and they had to commit to what they were going to do to improve that. So I really respect, and you know, whether they're going to do it is a different story, but I think it's great that people are, you know, showing where they stand, and you know, just showing solidarity. But I think the important thing to happen is what's going to happen next. After that, like, how are we going to upkeep this? Like, how are you going to implement this? It's all great that you've put, you know, Blackout Tuesday, and you know, you're putting up the fist and stuff, but what happens after that? So it's difficult to tell, because at the moment all people can do is show their solidarity, especially in the dance industry. I think we'll see the change once things start getting back to normal. But I do sense that people they're reading a lot, they're watching a lot, or they're observing, and they're, as uncomfortable as it might be, but you know, I feel like people are doing it, but I'm more of a proof is in the pudding kind of girl. So I think where it's going to get really difficult is when there is a specific scenario, and the next move is going to determine whether all of this allyship that you've been doing this last 3 months is really going to come into play. I think that's when people are going to be tested. But on the positive note, I think it's great that people are, you know, people are more aware, people are showing their solidarity, people are showing where they stand. Like I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Keek said it's a marathon, not a sprint, and I completely agree.
100%.
If this is going to be lasting and have longevity in all of our lives, and not just in our industry, it's got to be consistently from now forward. And these awkward conversations and difficult feelings are not going to go away overnight. It's going to keep happening. So yeah, like I've had a few difficult, not even difficult conversations, because they were with people that I love and that actually was so open to learning. But you know, it's not the most comfortable thing to talk about in the world.
No, of course not.
Never discussed it before. So yeah, but it's yeah, I mean, with people that you love and people that you care about, it's a different conversation to say if you're on a job, for example. That's a different feeling. I did some extra work on a job for a series, and we were like protesting against this woman, right, who'd made some it's supposed to be some like weird dark comedy. This woman had made some decisions which meant loads of people were stuck up in space or something. And they handed us all these like placards and protest boards. Mm-hmm. And on the board, she's a black woman, and on the board it was a picture of her with a pile of shit on her head, and underneath it said shit hair, shit person, and various different images to that effect. Yes, exactly.
Oh,
right, exactly.
Jesus.
So I immediately uncomfortable. I wasn't the only person of colour there. There were lots of other people, and many white people there as well felt like this was not right. This was maybe about, I'd say maybe a year ago. So I approached the team, like one of the runners, and I just said, like, listen, this is so tone deaf. Like, this is really just not okay. And it was funny because everybody I spoke to up the chain had a really like, oh my God, we're so sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry we've offended you. Yeah, we'll get them taken down like instantly. I mean, at that point in the first place. But my issue was the fact that it got to the man in charge, basically the guy that had written it all. And that was where I faced the most resistance. Everyone else along the chain up until then had been like, please tell us why it was so offensive. Like we just didn't understand. We want to make sure we don't make this mistake again. And then the guy on top of it all was his words to me were, we will watch it back when we film it, and if we think it's racist, we'll take it out, but if not, we'll leave it in. And I said to him, it's not for you to decide that, because it doesn't.
I was just about to say.
And it doesn't concern you, so you cannot make that decision. Yeah, so I've never actually checked the program to see if the scene is still in there or not, but yeah, that was
oh my God,
a difficult one. But a group of us removed ourselves from the scene. But yeah, that's all you can do really at that time, I guess. Have you ever been in a difficult situation that you've ever had a good outcome from, or?
Do you know what? It's weird because I think a few years ago I kind of made a decision to only put myself in spaces that I'm either in control of or I can have influence over. So it's been a while. I think off the top of my head and off the cuff, what I remember is I do get a lot of weird remarks when it comes to hair. And I'm sure a lot of ladies and guys even can probably relate to this. And because I'm quite versatile with my hair, so a lot of people probably seen that 1 minute I'm bald and then the next minute like I've got like a 26-inch wig, and then I've got like blue hair, and I just like to be able to do that stuff. And I got hired for this job, and I had said to them, oh, by the way, like I have braids like in, which I had already sent a picture, but I was just like, just to let you know, like I've got braids in my hair, and they were kind of like, oh, but we were kind of hoping like you could like maybe bring some of your straight wigs, so that first of all you're gonna have to pay me to take these braids out.
Right. Do you know
like,
the time? Like
my G, because when I was sending you pictures, there was no straight. I sent you the picture with my braids, and you booked me based off of that, and now you want to tell me about straight wig and what, like, oh, we just thought that it would be fun because with you, like, we can change it up, because like you're bald underneath and you've got these great braids and you can have the straight hair, and we can. Nah, B, is there something in the job that requires me to have it? If not, man ain't no Barbie doll. I'm not a fucking Barbie doll that you can just be coming and playing hairdresser. Like, so if you're going to pay me £200 to take my braids out to do it again, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. But no, and I didn't want to take my braids out anyway. You know, the ones that like the braids are tight as well. They're still new. They're still new. And you're like, nah, B.
You're not taking that out. No.
I've been sitting here for 8 hours and you want me to take my braids out to come and put a wig on my hair for you to then say, oh, actually, we don't want the wig. That's what they wanted to be able to do. Nah, we're not doing that. I'm not the one. Like, no. Oh, I guess it's, oh, you guessed right. Like, no. And the thing is, like, this is what I'm saying, in situations like this, like, you'll be surprised at the outcome. If you, obviously, like, I didn't speak like that, but I was very, like, assertive and very, like, matter of fact that it, like, this is what it is. Unless there is a specific reason why I need to have this, then, like, it's not happening. And, you know, there's ways that you can go about, like, speaking up, like, for yourself without feeling like, oh, they're going to drop me from the job, or this is going to happen and this is going to happen. Like, nah. Maybe it's my age. Maybe it's an age thing. Like, maybe because I'm, like, a little bit older, I feel more confident. I know there's a lot of, you know, like, uni graduates who've just come out and, you know, it might be their first job, and, you know, but this is where your agents come in. This is where your agents, your representatives, like, this is where they should come in. And if you don't feel comfortable dealing with, you know, those weird and awkward conversations, my G, that is why you are giving them the 15, 17.5, 20, 21, however much it is now, because it's different every time. That's why you're giving them that percentage. So if you don't want to have that, like, this is where, and the thing is, you need to be able to have faith and confidence that your agent is going to be able to step up. Yeah. Or your representation is going to be able to step up and say, is there a reason? Do you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to be going through that, try to tell man to take man's braids out.
Yeah. Like, and I think if you feel like you can have that conversation with your agent and your agent can back you, they're not the right agent for you. They're not doing your job right.
And I'm not saying that I wouldn't be open to, like, obviously if it's a job that, you know, all the girls are required to have braids, or, you know, I've seen jobs where, like, it's just part of the look, it's part of the overall, like, artistry and stuff. Of course, no problem. But I think because it was never in the brief, it was never something that was even, do you know what I mean? And the job wasn't even that deep, to be honest. And the picture I sent was the braid you sent me. But I think they had gone through my Instagram, right, and they had seen that, like, oh, we can play dress up. Like, no. Yeah, someone said start invoicing for hairstyles. Listen, me tell you, you'll be shocked. But yeah, anyway, moving on.
It's funny, actually, because how long ago was that scenario?
This was, you know, it wasn't even that long ago, you know. It was, I'd probably say, like 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh, interesting. Because I feel like now there's been a shift because of the whole cultural appropriation and, like, Kim Kardashian and her braids. There's a whole shift with the braid thing now. And I used to now, like, people love me to wear my braids and want them on jobs. But before, I was my afro, basically. It was like, no, we need an afro. We need someone that's empty. We need the urban. We need, you know, one hair. And so then and I feel like they do that to a lot of black people. They put you in that box. I mean, they do that all over the place in our industry anyway. If you're blonde, you're in that box, whatever. But, like, you just become the hair. And it's like, oh no, I just want an afro, so I'm just gonna have that girl. She's got an afro, yeah, great. And it's like, no, you can't change your hair. You can't do anything different with it. And it's just reducing you down to something that you actually have no control over. Exactly. And we all know black hair love is a journey within itself. And if you're not there within yourself, and then that's all what you're getting from outside, it can be super difficult, especially if you're new to the industry and you don't know how to manage that. Exactly. Yeah, and I agree. It's definitely an age thing as well, when you kind of just grow into it and you end up getting to a point where you're just like, you know what, fuck it. I am who I am. I am how I am, and I will be rocking my crown however I deem fit. Right. Exactly. It's just that. Will this be saved? Yes, this will be saved now. Absolutely. On that, like, same thread as, like, hair and stuff, how have you felt on jobs in, like, regards to, like, makeup, and how, like, how hairstylists have been able to cope with your hair and do them and things like that? That's it's a reoccurring
subjects that always comes up, you know, in the commercial world. I was in a Zoom session speaking about even theatre and like musical theatre as well, and it's so mad that it's a thing. Like that, you know, you go on these jobs and, you know, as a black or brown person, it's like, oh god, the shade's a bit, oh sorry, we don't have your shade. And then you're spending 15-20 minutes, my G, you only have 40 minutes per girl. Like, don't they send you've been sent pictures, right? But you're coming here to be doing mixologist and be doing cocktail mixer. Like, what's happening?
Are they just, would they not be absolutely mortified as well? Because my best friend is a makeup artist and she prides herself on the fact that no matter who sits in her chair, she will have foundation that fits that person. She will know what colours complement their skin, and she's not a hairstylist.
Thank you.
Job title, but she will have tools to work on anybody's hair. Like, she'll message me like, oh, Fab, what do you use for your hair type? And like, oh, I've got this girl that's got really much coarser hair. Can you recommend anything? That's all it takes.
I think even let's not make it a black thing, right? Let's say because I'm assuming that part of the process would be to, you know, you send the makeup artist, you know, the list of girls that you're going to do. Let's say someone who is so my friend Keeks, for instance, she's next door. We live together. She's vegan, right? And so some of the makeups that she can use on her face, she can't use some of the like, I can probably just use anything like on my face because my skin's not really sensitive like that, whereas hers might be. Or you might have someone who's Asian that might have more sense. Even just as a makeup artist in general, should you not be able to cater to that? So it's not even just a black thing. Like, it's just in general, your job requires you to do that. No, and if you only specialize in a particular skin tone, and you've been sent this job where, okay, there's going to be 3 white girls, 3 Asian girls, 5 black girls, or whatever. So you know that you're going to have to do an all-rounder. So what did you think you was going to be coming here to do mixologist on my face? Like, what? That's not okay. Like, that's not okay. And I know, like, I'm making it like comedic and stuff, but it's really frustrating. And I've seen some girls on jobs, and I'm not going to bait out the job because I feel like that will bait out the agent and the production company, but I've seen some girls who they can't say that, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, they're really gonna make this girl go on stage like this, right? Like, they're really gonna make her go on stage. And it's one of them ones where, especially when the outfits reveal like your neckline, right? But then so your face is looking mad ghostly, looking like Casper up in here, and then you're just seeing like the brown skin. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm just thinking that, how dare you? Do you know what I mean? This person, this dancer has been through this rehearsal process, they've been through this audition process, they've been through all of these things, and they can't even feel good about the final performance stage. Do you know what I mean? Those tiny little things, like, we underestimate how important those things are to us as dancers. Same with hair. Like, and I know guys go through it as well. Coming in here, you want to come and line up my hair mad. Like, listen, if you can't barb, this is so African of me, but if you can't barb my hair, don't be coming here to do barber. Like, if you can't barb this specific type of hair, just don't come here with your clippers. Right. Like, it's not okay.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I just, and the issue with the hair and makeup thing, I think it goes way deep, all the way back to their training. Because I've heard from so many people, like, you get taught like European hair, but you have to do black as an extra. Like, black hair isn't included in your training. And I'm sure my friend told me that when they do their training for like makeup and stuff, they cover white skin tones, and they get maybe a few here and there, maybe an Asian one, maybe a black one. So they get so much less time to learn about the colors and the undertones and all that kind of stuff. So it goes way back to their training. But as far as I'm concerned, as a grown person, if you want to work in this industry, knowing there are people from all ethnic backgrounds, that is your duty to look that up and learn that if you didn't get it from your training.
And I think I was asking, I don't know if it was, I think it might have been a conversation we were having with Richie and Lily. And I was like, whose actual job is it to ensure that these things are taken care of? And I don't know if it was Lily or Richie. Hey guys. I think, yeah, they said it's the production company. And I get that, you know, there are some niggly bits where like they might have hired a whole company that includes like the lighting and the makeup artist and the stage manager, and I get it, like, and that's amazing. Do you know what I mean? But as a production, if you know that you're bringing this melting pot of people in, and who you've hired can't cater to it, so you're basically just saying, oh, let's just hope that they don't say anything. Let's just hope that no one complains. That's kind of that's crazy, and it needs to. It's not okay. Like it. There is no part of that that's okay. Like, because that's a decision. That's a conscious decision.
Yes. To exclude people, which is dehumanizing and belittling, and to put someone in that position when they're on a job as well is just incredibly thoughtless. Cece was saying she was on an award show and she got told, sorry, we don't do your kind of hair.
I wonder if it's the same award show. I didn't want to say the award show, you know, but that is the example I was giving. And I don't know if it's the same award show, but I experienced that on an award show. It might not have been the same year, but I experienced it, that, and I was flabbergasted. I was like, hey, so you want to be coming to do up? Yeah, so you're doing up Instagram, because after you're going to be on Instagram, like, yeah, I did makeup for the so-and-so awards, but meanwhile, you made me look ashy, my G. So what's happening here? Like, it's not, it's not. And the thing is, it's not even a thing where you have to hire a black makeup artist. No, hire a makeup artist, black, Asian, white, but whatever, that knows how to cater to everyone. That's it. Like, simple.
Yeah, like I go to jobs with my hair prepped because so many times I've sat on that chair and then just looked at it and just gone.
That.
No, you're good.
And then don't forget the little spray.
Yeah, with the Tresemme, and I'm like,
girl, you ain't doing shit with that spray. The fuck you mean? Like
really,
stop it.
Yeah, it's that. I think that's one of the biggest changes for our industry that has to really, really shift, because it's just not on. We have got 45 seconds remaining, so I'm going to jump back in. So
okay.
Come back in.
Okay. See you soon.
Seen us still in there or not, but yeah, that was
oh my god,
a difficult one. But a group of us removed ourselves from the scene. But yeah, that's all you can do really at that time, I guess. Have you ever been in a difficult situation that you've ever had a good outcome from, or?
Do you know what? It's weird, because I think a few years ago I kind of made a decision to only put myself in spaces that I'm either in control of or I can have influence over. So it's been a while. I think off the top of my head and off the cuff, what I remember is I do get a lot of weird remarks when it comes to hair. And I'm sure a lot of, you know, ladies and you know, guys even can probably relate to this. And because I'm quite versatile with my hair, so, you know, a lot of people probably seen that, you know, 1 minute I'm bald and then the next minute, like I've got like a 26-inch you know, wig, and you know, then I've got like blue hair, and that's just, you know, I just like to be able to do that stuff. And I got hired for this job, and I had said to them, oh, by the way, like I have braids like in, which I had already sent a picture, but I was just like, just to let you know, like I've got braids in my hair, and you know, they were kind of like, oh, but we were kind of hoping, like, you know, you could like maybe bring some of your straight wigs, so that first of all, you're gonna have to pay me to take these braids out.
Right. Do you know
Like,
the time? Like
my
it took
G.
women, like,
Because when I was sending you pictures, yeah, there was no straight. I sent you the picture with my braids, and you booked me based off of that. And now you want to tell me about straight wig and what? Like,
yeah,
oh, we just thought that it would be fun because, you know, with you, like, we can change it up, you know, because like you're bald underneath and you've got these great braids and you can have the straight hair and we can. Nah, B. Is there something in the job that requires me to have it? If not,
right,
man ain't no Barbie doll. I'm not a fucking Barbie doll that you can just be coming and playing hairdresser. Like,
right,
so
absolutely,
if you're going to pay me £200 to take my braids out to do it again, no problem.
yeah,
No problem. But no. And I didn't want to take my braids out anyway. You know the ones that like the braids are tight as well, they're still
yeah.
new.
Still,
They're
no, no,
still
no,
new. And
that,
you're like, nah, B.
you're not taking that out, no.
I've been sitting here for 8 hours and you want me to take my braids out to come and put wig on my hair for you to then say, oh, actually, we don't want the wig. That's what they wanted to be able to do. Nah, we're not doing that. I'm not the one. Like, no.
Yeah,
Oh, I guess it's, oh, you guessed right. Like, no. And the thing is, like, this is what I'm saying, in situations like this, like, you'll be surprised at the outcome. If you, obviously, like, I didn't speak like that, but I was very like assertive and very like matter of fact that it, like, this is what it is. Unless there is a specific reason why I need to have this, then like it's not happening. And you know, there's ways that you can go about like speaking up like for yourself without feeling like, oh, they're gonna drop me from the job, or they're gonna, or this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen. Like,
yeah,
nah.
100%.
Maybe it's my age. Maybe it's an age thing. Like, maybe because I'm like a little bit older, I feel more confident. I know there's a lot of, you know, like uni graduates who've just come out and, you know, it might be their first job, and you know, and but this is where your agents come in. This is where your agents, your representatives, like, this is where they should come in. And if you don't feel comfortable dealing with, you know, those weird and awkward conversations, my G, that is why you are giving them the 15, 17.5, 20, 20, however much it is now, because it's different every time. That's why you're giving them that percentage. So if you don't want to have that, like, this is where, and the thing is, you need to be able to have faith and confidence that your agent is going to be able to step up.
Yeah.
Or your representation is going to be able to step up and say, is there a reason? Do you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to be going through that, try to tell man to take man's braids out.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think if you feel like you can have that conversation with your agent and your agent can back you, they're not the right agent for you. They're not doing your job right.
And I'm not saying that I wouldn't be open to, like, obviously if it's a job that, you know, oh, all the girls are required to have braids, or, you know, I've seen jobs where like it's just part of the look, it's part of the overall like artistry and stuff. Of course, no problem. But I think because it was never in the brief, it was never something that was even, do you know what I mean? And the job wasn't even that deep, to be honest. And the picture I sent was the braid you sent me, but I think they had gone through my Instagram.
Right.
And they had seen that, like, oh, we can play dress up. Like, no. Yeah, someone said start invoicing for hairstyles. Listen, let me tell you, yeah, you'll be shocked. But yeah, anyway, moving on.
It's funny, actually, because how long ago was that scenario?
This was, you know, it wasn't even that long ago, you know. It was, I'd probably say like 4 or 5 months ago.
Oh, interesting. Because I feel like now there's been a shift because of the whole cultural appropriation and like Kim Kardashian and her braids. There's a whole shift with the braid thing now. And I used to now, like, people love me to wear my braids and want them on jobs, but before it was, I was my afro basically. It was like, no, we need an afro, we need someone that's edgy, we need the urban, we need, you know, what hair. And so then and I feel like they do that to a lot of black people. They put you in that box. I mean, they do that all over the place in our industry anyway. If you're blonde, you're in that box, whatever. But like, you just become the hair. And it's like, oh no, I just want an afro, so I'm just gonna have that girl. She's got an afro, yeah, great. And it's like, no, you can't change your hair. You can't do anything different with it. And it's just reducing you down to something that you actually have no control over.
Exactly.
And we all know black hair love is a journey within itself. And if you're not there within yourself, and then that's all what you're getting from outside, it can be super difficult, especially if you're new to the industry and you don't know how to manage that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I agree. It's definitely an age thing as well, when you kind of just grow into it and you end up getting to a point where you're just like, you know what, fuck it. I am who I am. I am how I am, and I will be rocking my crown however I deem fit.
Right. Exactly.
It's just that. Will this be saved? Yes, this will be saved now. Absolutely. On that like same thread as like hair and stuff, how have you felt on jobs in like regards to like makeup, and how like how hairstylists have been able to cope with your hair and do them and things like that?
That's it's a reoccurring subject that always comes up, you know, in the commercial world. I was in a Zoom session speaking about even theatre and like musical theatre as well, and it's so mad that it's a thing. Like that, you know, you go on these jobs and, you know, as a black or brown person, it's like, oh god, the shade's a bit, oh sorry, we don't have your shade. And then you're spending 15-20 minutes, my G, you only have 40 minutes per girl. Like, don't they send you've been sent pictures, right? But you're coming here to be doing mixologist and be doing cocktail mixer. Like, what's happening?
Are they just, would they not be absolutely mortified as well? Because my best friend is a makeup artist, and she prides herself on the fact that no matter who sits in her chair, she will have foundation that fits that person. She will know what colours complement their skin, and she's not a hairstylist.
Thank you.
Job title, but she will have tools to work on anybody's hair. Like, she'll message really much coarser hair. Can you recommend anything? That's all it takes.
But I think even let's not make it a black thing, right? Let's say because I'm assuming that part of the process would be to, you know, you send the makeup artist, you know, the list of girls that you're going to do. Let's say someone who is so my friend Keeks, for instance, she's next door. We live together. She's vegan, right? And so some of the makeups that she can use on her face, she can't use some of the, like, I can probably just use anything like on my face because my skin's not really sensitive like that, whereas hers might be. Or you might have someone who's Asian that might have more sense. Even just as a makeup artist in general, should you not be able to cater to that? So it's not even just a black thing. Like, it's just in general, your job requires you to do that. No, and if you only specialize in a particular skin tone, and you've been sent this job where, okay, there's going to be 3 white girls, 3 Asian girls, 5 black girls, or whatever, so you know that you're going to have to do an all-rounder. So what did you think you was going to be coming here to do mixologist on my face? Like, what? That's not okay. Like, that's not okay. And I know, like, I'm making it like comedic and stuff, but it's really frustrating. And I've seen some girls on jobs, and I'm not gonna bait out the job because I feel like that will bait out the agent and the production company. But I've seen some girls who they can't say that, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, they're really gonna make this girl go on stage like this. Right. Like, they're really gonna make her go on stage. And it's one of them ones where, especially when the outfits reveal like your neckline, right? But then, so your face is looking mad ghostly, looking like Casper up in here, and then you're just seeing like the brown. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just thinking, like, how dare you? Do you know what I mean? This person, this dancer has been through this rehearsal process. They've been through this audition process. They've been through all of these things, and they can't even feel good about the final performance stage. Do you know what I mean? Those tiny little things, like, we underestimate how important those things are to us as dancers. Same with hair. Like, and I know guys go through it as well. Coming in here, you want to come and line up my hair mad. Like, listen, if you can't barb, this is so African of me, but if you can't barb my hair, don't be coming here to do barber. Like, if you can't barb this specific type of hair, just don't come here with your clippers. Right. Like, it's not okay.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I just, and the issue with the hair and makeup thing, I think it goes way deep, all the way back to their training. Because I've heard from so many people, like, you get taught like European hair, but you have to do black as an extra. Like, black hair isn't included in your training. And my friend, I'm sure my friend told me that when they do their training for like makeup and stuff, they cover white skin tones, and they get maybe a few here and there, maybe an Asian one, maybe a black one. So they get so much less time to learn about the colors and the undertones and all that kind of stuff. So it goes way back to their training. But as far as I'm concerned, as a grown person, if you want to work in this industry, knowing there are people from all ethnic backgrounds, that is your duty to look that up and learn that if you didn't get it from your training.
And I think I was asking, I don't know if it was, I think it might have been a conversation we were having with Richie and Lily. And I was like, whose actual job is it to ensure that these things are taken care of? And I don't know if it was Lily or Richie. Hey guys. I think, yeah, they said it's the production company. And I get that, you know, there are some niggly bits where like they might have hired a whole company that includes like the lighting and the makeup artist and the stage manager, and I get it, like, and that's amazing. Do you know what I mean? But as a production, if you know that you're bringing this melting pot of people in, and who you've hired can't cater to it, so you're basically just saying, oh, let's just hope that they don't say anything. Let's just hope that no one complains. That's kind of that's crazy, and it needs to. It's not okay. Like there is no part of that that's okay. Like because that's a decision. That's a conscious decision.
To exclude people, which is dehumanizing and belittling, and to put someone in that position when they're on a job as well is just incredibly thoughtless. Cece was saying she was on an award show and she got told, sorry, we don't do your kind of hair.
I wonder if it's the same award show. I didn't want to say the award show, you know, but that is the example I was given. And I don't know if it's the same award show, but I experienced that on an award show. It might not have been the same year, but I experienced it, that, and I was flabbergasted. I was like, hey, so you want to be coming to do up? Yeah, so you're doing up Instagram, because after you're going to be on Instagram, like, yeah, I did makeup for the so-and-so awards, but meanwhile, you made me look ashy, my G. So what's happening here? Like, it's not, it's not. And the thing is, it's not even a thing where you have to hire a black makeup artist. No, hire a makeup artist, black, Asian, white, but whatever, that knows how to cater to everyone. That's it. Like simple.
Yeah, like I go to jobs with my hair prepped because so many times I've sat on that chair and then just looked at it and just gone. No, you're good.
You know, and then don't forget the little spray.
Yeah, with the Tresemme, and I'm like,
girl, you ain't doing shit with that spray. The fuck you mean? Like, really, stop it.
Yeah, it's that. I think that's one of the biggest changes for our industry that has to really, really shift, because it's just not on. We're back.
Hello.
Fab. Thank you, first of all, so much for all of that info so far. It's been brilliant.
It's been great. Yeah, it's been great.
I find it personally really therapeutic to be able to talk this out, and and it's nice to know as well that you're not the only one that experiences it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
agree. Not because it's a standard thing, unfortunately, but it's good to hear it.
No, I think so. I think so, and I think it's important to have these conversations as well, because I mentor a lot of younger girls, and you know, there are younger girls, you know, graduating and coming into the industry, you know, as new professionals, and I just always think to myself, and I don't know if this is me just going a bit too deep, but I just always think to myself, like, gosh, like, if any of them are ever looking at me as an example, do you know what I mean? Like, I need to set the tone, and it's almost like when you look at like the issue of race, like there are certain things that our ancestors did that we that they had to go through so that we wouldn't have to go through certain things. You know what I mean? And I look at it in that same way, and I just think, bloody hell, like if we don't say anything now, like we're literally just passing the buck. Do you know what I mean? We're passing the buck, and that doesn't sit right. That doesn't sit right in my spirit. Like, to know that there are people who are going to come into the industry, and instead of me, you know, doing what I can to try and change it for them, I'm just going, oh, sorry, I had to go through it, so here you go. Sorry about that. It's going to be hard. Do you know what I mean? That does not sit right with me at all. So where I can, and again, because I'm older, and I think when you solidify yourself in your purpose, there's more opportunity for you to speak up. Right. So I'm in a position now, and I'm not saying that I'm like booked and blessed, like ain't no one tell me, but I've because I'm tunnel vision now in what my purpose is. No one can blacklist me. I'm gonna speak up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And not because it's just for me, or because I want to book work, or because I'm trying to be difficult. I'm thinking about the people that are right behind me that are coming up. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking about. And if you are upset at that, again, like I said, it says more about you. What legacy is it that you're trying to leave in this industry? Since you want to rebuttal what it is that we're saying, these things they're positive changes. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're saying, you know, you have to pay us £1,000 now, and every one of us, each of us, has to have our own makeup artist, and we have to have our individual. It's not even that crazy demands. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, and I know a lot of people like in my age range, and even some younger people feel like that. Like every time I'm like, okay, there's people behind me, there's people coming up. This set of students just graduated, like, do you know what I mean, a couple months ago. Like I can't, and I have to do everything that I can within my lifetime to make sure that whoever's after me doesn't have to go through the BS.
Yeah, you know? Like it's not fair, and I think of those people that were doing that treatment and making others feel that way, felt for a second how it felt when you sit in a chair and know that someone can't do your hair or face correctly, or do you justice. They would know that needs to stop. Yeah. And it's at the end of the day, then it's just ignorance and not putting yourself in someone else's shoes and giving someone else the same respect that you would give. Yeah, you can't underestimate that thing that releases in your body when your hair is done. Do you know what I mean? Right. Or that thing that like activates in your brain when, you know, you look at yourself in the mirror, you've got your makeup done. I'm not saying like, you know, people only feel like that when they have their makeup done, but, you know, you go through this journey of you've auditioned, you've done the rehearsal, it's the show day, and you're like, oh my God, like, and you're seeing like the mood boards, and you're like, oh fuck, I can't wait to get on stage, and you want to feel good. And just that little situation with someone just not knowing how to do your makeup can really like fuck up that whole, all of a sudden that whole journey is just wasted. Yeah, we can't underestimate those tiny things, you know. Absolutely. So yeah, it's important. It's important, man. I'm just gonna read. I think Keith. Also, my camera's on a bit of a wonk. Keith said she was at the Brits, and every year the head makeup artist has had to redo her face. Whoa. Which is just not. I mean, it takes more time for them anyway. Like, you know, for us on that day when everyone's getting ready for show stuff. I'm going to have to approach someone and be like, listen, my face wasn't done right. Listen, my hair wasn't done right. Someone else has to do it. It's just time wasting. Just get it right, done the first time. And I'm happy, and then, yeah. The fluffing out killed me that you did. I'm laughing because I've seen it so many times. I've seen it so many times. It's like, spray. Yeah. Hilarious. Brilliant. Hilarious. Well, not brilliant anyway, but you know what I mean. Let's go on. Oh, this is an interesting one. Oh. What do you find the most difficult thing about being a black dancer within our industry?
Oh, this is a
Quite a deep one.
yeah, this is quite a deep one. I don't find anything difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I find things frustrating.
Right.
I think to say something is difficult as a Black dancer means that I'm excluding that other people experience difficulties as well. But yeah, I don't find things that difficult. I find things frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's little things like, oh God, gonna have to prep my face before I go, or that extra bit of care that you do when, you know, there's a casting coming up and you know only two of you can be booked, you know, um, or that like if gosh,
Yeah.
I could list so many, but again, like some of these experiences are from quite a while ago because again, like I've kind of reshifted where I'm at with dance, so I focus more on that teaching and mentoring and more choreography side of things. Um, but yeah, as a Black, there's just that extra thought that you think with every step that you have to. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the audition, oh, like I don't want to look too ratchet, so and these are things that I've seen people talk about. Like, do you know what I mean? And just that lead, you haven't even got the job yet. That lead up to, it's already stressful for anyone, Black, white, whatever. It's already stressful. Do you know what I mean? Putting yourself in that position, but then there's almost that extra thing that, like, I feel like that I've seen anyway from experience that Black dancers have to think about when they're walking into a space. When they
Yeah.
book the job, there's that thing, you know, oh, I don't want anyone to, and then when you're on the job, then you have to deal with mixologists not being able to mix properly, and it like, yeah. So I wouldn't say, yeah, I wouldn't say difficult. I don't know why that word is weird to me, but like I would say there are things that are very frustrating, things that you would say it's like it's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that, and I'd say that my I mean, everyone's journey is different, but as a mixed race person, my journey will be different,
Mm-hmm.
and I how do I word this? I will have been afforded some privileges
Mm-hmm.
because of the lightness of my skin.
Mm-hmm.
But I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and it it gets labelled as a privilege, but what it is it's fetishizing, and it's like a false acceptance. It's like because you're still not on the same level of acceptance, but they go, oh, we'll give you this little bit, and like you can come a little bit closer, but we don't really want you. We just want because you look a little bit tanned, and we, you know, and we can I don't know, possibly pass you off as Mediterranean or something. Do you know what I mean? And I think coming from like a mixed perspective, that can be quite confusing because you're in this weird kind of like this weird
tug of war. Yeah, it's like
right,
oh, you're kind of in, but oh, yeah, it's,
yeah, but you're not quite, and it's an odd one, and I agree. The word difficult isn't quite right, but I think frustrating.
Yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah, I know what you meant. But yeah, frustrating for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, let's like round this off with some like positive stuff.
Yeah.
So who are your favorite Black dancers, choreographers, or companies?
Oh my God.
Say that again.
I said, oh my God. This is such a hard. I asked this question on my show as well, but like, yeah, I know low key, like, it's quite a difficult question. Gosh, I'm just gonna mix them all up between dancers, choreographers. Obviously you have people like Kenrick Sandy, Sean Amy, who's an incredible popper. There's a guy called Kwame Spoken Movement who does hip hop theatre. I love Luam from the US.
Yes.
Home Bros from the Afro scene, Tally, Keeks.
Yeah.
Shout out Keeks in the other room. Jade Hackett. Like, God, there's so many. Oh God, there's so many. Like, we are talented, you know. Like, there are some talented people up, and that's just, and most of the people I've said is just like the UK.
Yeah.
You know, that boy Blue, that Bodicea, if anyone was around when Bodicea like was around, which was run by Rhymes. Like, there's so many, but those are a few that
there's so many
that I love.
Variation as well with like what people do, like like, you know, it doesn't just have to be, there's so many what's the saying, strings to people's bows, and I think it's so beautiful that the Black talent within the dance community and wider is so varied, and there's so many people doing so
amazing, like, yeah, so amazing, like, and even just the versatility within that community is just like, you know, like sometimes I you know, when you sometimes step back and then and you look on the talent and you're so overwhelmed because you're like, fucking hell. Like, I don't even know where to look. Do you know what I mean? You look in the commercial world and there's some incredible, like, people like Rebby. You have, do you know what I mean? It's just Tajana. Like, there's just some incredible people. Cece, like, so many. I know I'm gonna forget people, but there's so many people. And then you look in the underground scene, and there's just, you're like, oh my God. And you look in the Afro scene, you look in the dancehall scene, you look in the hip hop theater scene, music. Like, it's amazing. Like, and anyone who's like, oh, but I don't know where to find Black creatives, I don't quite know, bruh. I'm volunteering myself to you, to agents, choreographers, production companies, like, all of you, man, there, holler at me. I will take you to the spots. You will have a good time. Let me tell you, you have a good one, because you're with me, and two, you're gonna be bringing out your notebook, because you're gonna be like, who the fuck that is? Who's that? Like, what's happening here? Listen, you will enjoy yourself. Like, holler at me. So don't say like you don't know. Like, it's out here. Man.
It's so accessible. Like, it's everywhere.
So accessible.
That's just weak as far as I'm concerned. That's not you haven't even typed it into Instagram, or you've done nothing. If you can't find anyone, you've literally done nothing. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And the
collaborations that can happen with that, like, some beautiful shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, just some. Why wouldn't you want to, like? It's just.
I know.
I don't even know how to word it, but yeah, it's out here, and like, if it can do this, do you know what I mean? Like, it will just be such an amazing, like, and I feel like it would even open up more things that people have always wanted to do. Like, okay, calm, like, you predominantly do, say, jazz funk in your choreography that you do on jobs, but you might have had a thought and said, oh, do you know what would be amazing? I would love to have some kind of influence in, like, Afro contemporary, and just throw that in there. Like, I wonder if anyone's out there that does that. They're out here, and what's that gonna do? That is going to expand your repertoire. And guess what happens when you expand your repertoire? Money. Money. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, there is, I'm telling you, like, there is, like, beautiful things that can be born from collaborations, from entering into a different cultural scene that you might not be used to, and all of a sudden you start building up your connections. You're like, that means I can work with this artist now. I don't just have to stick with this box, because I know that I can go into this community and say, yo, like, I want to collaborate with you. Come in, like, this is going to be an amazing... Listen, you lot are missing... We're missing out on some serious, beautiful shit that can happen. Like,
And like you said at the beginning, so many of these cultures, the Caribbean culture, the African culture, it's all about inclusivity and like welcoming, like dance is used to celebrate, to mourn, like on so many different levels. And like we want to share it. It's a community thing. So come to us, get the knowledge, come and share it. And I think kind of off on a tangent, but like what I found so incredibly amazing was that at these protests you had groups of Black people dancing, singing, like people getting married in the middle of protests when their hearts are hurting, when they are crying, their souls are sad, like they are heartbroken. But in those moments there's just unity and joy through dance, through song.
I'm telling you.
And I was just watching these videos and I was like, I love my people.
Amazing. Like look at Basola's video.
Yes.
And like it was like to like djembe drums, and he was, and I just thought, are you mad, bro? Are you mad? Like just that, like, man, this it's happening. Like I know some people are doing the work already, and some people are trying to like incorporate it into their stuff. I'm not saying, you know, it should happen with every single artist, like it's not necessary, but like it just opens up a new door and a new lane, you know. Yeah, man.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, Keek said, wow, that is beautiful. We've been knowing how to make love even in the war cries. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and I just think that's incredible. So let's go one last question, Surround.
So one last plug. Listen, if there's any agents, representatives on here, production people, or if there's anyone who has links, if they say they don't know, I am the plug. Say it with me. Olu is the plug. I will tell you where they're at.
With no one, clear as day.
You ain't even got to pay me no fees. You ain't even got to pay me consultation fees. Yeah, I'll take that out. Don't worry about it. I'll take that out. I'll show you the spots. Anyway, sorry, carry on, Aisha.
No, that's fine. What I was going to say is just, what's your hope for the dance industry in the future as we're going forward?
Ooh, it's a loaded one.
Yeah, all right.
My hope is for there to be more prominent equality and diversity, not a misplacement, not an imbalance, but a balance of equality and diversity. I want it to feel more empowering for the people who come into this industry. And I'm going to speak specifically on the commercial industry because that's kind of the bubble that we're in here. And I want people to come into it and still experience, like, let's be real, no one's going to be out here like babying you. So I don't want it to change in that aspect, but to come in and experience the tough love and experience the harshness, but also experience the inclusivity and the representation. I want people to say, I can go into the commercial scene and feel like, what an amazing melting pot of talent and people, and where agents are on the same playing field. There is no tug of war with dancers and agents and, oh, but I'm going to be blacklisted, where it just works alongside each other and everyone's vibrating on the same wavelength. I think only good things can be born from vibrating on the same wavelength. So I hope that can happen. I hope that more conversations can happen. I hope that people can feel more comfortable to have conversations. And yeah, like I can feel it happen. Like, you know, when you can feel like it's slowly but surely, and there's gonna be times where, you know, things are gonna like seem like, okay, ain't shit happening, it's gone back to how it was before. But you know, yeah, I hope that this industry can really be that for the people who come into it.
Yeah, Yeah, I agree. I think exactly like you said, when people start vibrating on the same wavelength, people will learn to have the humility to ask questions about cultures that they don't understand, about genres that they don't understand, about styles that they don't understand. They'll have and they know that those questions will be met with like, even if it's not an answer from that person, direction to where they can go get that information from, so that, you know, it can all grow and people are open to growing. I think that's, I'm just, I like you said, I can feel it. You can feel something. And,
yeah, you can feel something. Yeah.
It just it will just take time to see how that manifests.
And people who are in the industry, and like often it can feel lonely, and you're going through shit and you don't feel like there's anyone that you can kind of speak to. There's always gonna be someone that you can tell that they are someone who feels passionate about this subject, or who are like, not a spokesperson, because I don't want to put that kind of pressure on anyone, but like, if you don't want to speak to someone directly, speak to an agent or whatever directly, like, there is something quite therapeutic about just, do you know what I mean, just speaking about it, because it can get a lot, and this industry can batter and bruise you, like, do you know what I mean, if you don't know how to navigate your way around it. So them lot are like, get your P's. Okay, I might charge a little commission.
Okay, sorry, consultancy fee back on. I love that. Well, thank you so much for that talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just, like I said earlier, it's so nice to just speak about it really openly and honestly, and have other people give their opinions and where they're at with it too. Very last question to round off. Have you got a motivational slogan that gets you through tough times?
Oh my God.
Do you want me to do mine first?
Yeah, you do yours.
Yeah. So mine is, so far you've survived 100% of your worst days. You're doing great.
Ooh.
That's fun, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
mine's gonna be.
It's
okay.
So
I have two. I have one that that Keeks says a lot. And shout out to Keeks. Breath work every Sunday, but it wasn't on this Sunday, but it's on from next week. Breath work Sunday 7 p.m.
Yes, that's amazing about that.
Yeah, but she always says this phrase that really, like, it does tend to calm me, and it's I am enough.
Yeah.
And it's so simple, and even when you say it, there's almost like a breath release, like when you say it, like I am enough. So I love that saying, and I love another one that says, and this too shall pass.
Yes.
I love that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my two simple
those are beautiful
affirmations.
They're so short, but you can remember them so clearly, and they do what it says on the tin, don't they? Like, they just there is that love. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Lily and Rich, for
letting us get on here and
providing this platform. Hope we did you proud.
Yes, I hope so. Are you still doing, just a quick plug for all your stuff, are you still doing weekly? You have weekly talks, right?
Yeah, so I do Afro Talk on Wednesdays at 7:30, and it's just an open forum, so I get different guests on there, teachers and mentors and practitioners who are in the industry, and it's just an open space just to talk, have questions. Sometimes it gets really heated and we're on there for like 3 hours. So it's a party up in there. It is a party up in that talk. So if you want to like know more, you don't have to necessarily be from the Afro community to be involved in the talks. Like, just come in, ask questions if you want, and it's just a good time. Like, and you can just ask whatever you want. Yeah, it gets heated, but it's fun time. But yeah, Wednesday at 7:30 on my live.
That's beautiful. Love that. And if any of you guys are like keyboard warriors and love sending emails and stuff, on the link in my bio, I have documents for email templates to send out to like MPs, to send out to brands, asking them to release all their kind of like who they hire and their stats and things like that, making people take real accountability. So amazing. So as Dancers Network will continue to educate everyone. Like, this isn't a,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a moment, it's a movement.
Amen.
Continue and keep going. And in the near future, we're hoping to get some information out about, we've spoken specifically about like braids and like the history of braids, because we know that's like a style quite often used within the dance community. Yeah, so we'll continue to educate as always. That's what Dancers Network is all about: educate, growth, and love.
Amen.
So all of you, shout out everyone for watching. Thank you so much for listening to us. Yay! And this will all be saved to Instagram Live. So yeah.
Thanks, guys. Have an amazing evening. Ayesha, I'm sure I'll speak to you after this live.
Thank you so much, Olu.
Bye. Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Demo sounds good.